Hello cozy gamers! We just haven't been able to stop playing Lakeburg Legacies since we got access to it, and honestly there's a lot of things we wish we had known when we first started playing. Luckily, we've learned from our mistakes, and have a host of tips and tricks we want to share with you, to make your Lakeburg life a little easier. Use the barter system. The barter system is a really important method for growing your pool of money, and you'll absolutely want that. I spent my first 2 playthroughs without even knowing it existed, and believe me when I say it changed my life in the 3rd playthrough. Sometimes they'll ask for more than you can give, but anytime I can barter for wood is a good day, and it's not as rare as you'd think. And in my experience, they only ask for things you can actually acquire, so it's likely you'll be able to do the trade. And it does change every few months or so there's plenty of chances to increase your coin hoard. And if you can't be bothered to wait, just call the llama. Likes and dislikes. This one might be a bit self-explanatory, but trust me, it's still worth knowing. Each villager has their own likes and dislikes that will correspond to the likes and dislikes of their potential matches, in good and bad ways, and it's absolutely worth paying attention to them. You can match bad couples, the game does allow for this, but these villagers aren't as happy and thus they're not as productive. So, going for the best matches you can and having the best dates you can will really help kickstart your kingdom. If you're like me and have an absolutely horrific memory, then I recommend keeping a pen and paper or the Notes app on your phone nearby. It really helps. Similar jobs. There'll be times where you'll be searching for the perfect person to fit that shiny new job you have, and sometimes they're too stubborn and just don't appear, or you'll find a perfect match for your villager and they're not quite perfect for your open job slots, but you take them anyway. In these cases, you might need to settle. But it's not all bad news, because certain jobs will have the same star levels, because it takes into account the skills of the villager too, which you should always check before you recruit them. For instance, a job that requires strength, such as a lumberjack or miner, really only needs your villager to have a good strength stat. If they're interested in the job, that's a bonus, but in a pinch, they'll do a great job. Worker slots. Don't be afraid to put off building your next building in favor of adding more worker slots to a previous one. I like to add another worker slot to my lumberjack's lodge as soon as possible, for instance. This helps me get a lot more wood in the early game. The game will make it very clear when you should be investing in a new building. You'll be able to see the looming red border around your resources if you need more of them. Until you see these, it's fair to upgrade the ones that you know you'll need. Plus, that way, you'll have plenty spare to barter with. Challenge buildings. Be prepared for the challenge buildings. After about 20 people, you'll unlock the first of these, the rodent's nest, and it can be quite tricky to deal with if you're not in a good situation. So, you're going to want to either have an open spot for a villager to join via marriage, enough money to purchase a villager, or be very aware of the secondary jobs of your villagers. For the rodent's nest, for example, you'll need a rat catcher. And the better the rat catcher, the more likely you won't see any negative effects from it. After the first challenge building unlocks, every 10 or so people you'll unlock another challenge building. They all have unique effects for the villagers, from health to faith, or even love. Trust me, when I unlocked the pleasure house in our challenge video, it was not a pretty sight. I won't spoil all the buildings for you because they're definitely really fun to experience, but if you want more info on how to deal with them, check their dev journal number 13 on Steam. Builder tickets. Builder tickets can be an absolute game changer, especially if you're not making a ton of resources in some buildings. Once you've built the workshop, you'll be able to acquire builder tickets. These tickets will allow you to decrease the price of constructing new buildings or buying worker slots in pre-existing buildings. So, even though there's an upfront cost of building the initial building, it can be really beneficial further down the line. Mentors. Happy couples will birth happy children who really want to start working in your community. Unfortunately, they won't be able to do that until they come of age. Luckily though, you are able to take them under your wing before that. Children will have their own job skills and proficiencies, but you can build on these through the mentorship system. Each worker slot in a building has a mentor slot open, where you'll be able to place your children and help them grow. Sadly, they won't provide resources for you at that age, but you'll be able to up their skills so when they do get a job, their output should be much higher. Resources. The resource overview menu on the top left is a fantastic tool for seeing what you're producing a lot of and what you may need to look into. Of course, the top bar has a basic insight into this, but you can bring up the larger menu to have a more broad idea of your full resource capacities. Also, make sure you up your storage when you're able. I usually prioritize wood at the beginning of the game because everything requires wood, but that means my storage gets pretty full, almost begging me to upgrade. So, remember you can spend your money here too, and it's absolutely worth it. There's so much more we could talk about regarding this game, but these are the tricks that helped us the most while playing, especially during our challenge video where we raced to crown our first ruler. If we've left something out that has helped you, then drop it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, then remember to like and subscribe. And if you're looking for a cozy community to join, then check out our Discord. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching!